Universal Audio just dropped another synth plugin. So if you guys don't know, Universal Audio has changed gears and changed direction in the good direction. They're creating synths that sound super realistic. Like it's comparable to my $2,000 synth I'm using right now as a MIDI controller, to the point where I'm like, why would I use the sounds from here when I can use their synth called Polymax? And they gave that away for free. And it enticed me to sign up to their UAD Spark, because now I have access to Electra 88, which is like a keyboard. We have access to the Moog and all this type of stuff that creates soul samples. So I'm really in the UA ecosystem. I was in there before with the mixing plugins, but now I'm back in there on their subscription for their sounds. So they came up with a new synth plugin called Anthem, and we're going to see what this is all about. So again, this comes with the UAD Spark subscription, which I pay monthly to access all this stuff. Because it's so high quality, it sounds like the real deal analog. So let's just see what this is all about. Let's just go through presets. Let's turn some chorus on. Instant Travis Scott vibe. Let's record something here. We're gonna make a beat. Let's record this. Off the bat, the first preset is fire. Let's turn that down. It has a nice distortion. You would think that distortion would get overwhelming, but this is the nuance about UAD stuff, is their stuff sounds so realistic that it's hard to explain. It's almost like when you play a synthesizer, it doesn't feel like a synthesizer. It feels like a real instrument that just so happens to be a synth. So if that makes sense to you guys. So let's use that as our chords. Let's build a track. I didn't expect to build a track today, but let's build a track. Okay, let's open up another instance here. And what I love about these plugins is you don't need a UAD interface to run these plugins. These run straight off of the native, your computer basically, which is a huge, huge step in the right direction for people. Let's see what other presets they got. Probably wouldn't use the sound for this beat. Let's That's crazy. Okay, let's come up with it. I was freestyling that. We don't even need to. Let's quantize that. Now we have a lot of distorted sounds, so let's start balancing these out with volume here. I'm also going to quantize our chords just so that we have them a little bit more on the grid, more trappish. So I wasn't expecting this plugin to be for trap. I honestly thought it was going to be a very specific use case, but right off the bat, all you got to do is add some chorus on the sound and you get a Travis Scott vibe. Let's add some more sounds here. And it's not overwhelming to where like you add one sawtooth and it takes out all the sound. It's like you could stack. That'd be crazy if I layered bass. Let's try to find another sound here. Let's add this as a layer. Man, this is crazy. Let's record this. I love that you can stack these sounds, and it's hard to explain this until you've actually gone through a ton of synthesizers. But the one common thing about synths currently in today's market is they sound very digital. What people mean by that usually is you can't push them very hard without it sounding very plasticky or too harsh. And the thing about UA's plugins, especially their Polymax, it just sounds so like not harsh that it just sounds like a real instrument. I don't know how else to say it. Okay. Let's see what else we can find in here that fits this vibe. I feel like we're gonna have 8 bass lines on this track. Let's duplicate this and create another bass line over here. For some reason, I'm loving their bass sounds. All right, let's start categorizing these layers here so we don't overly feel the beat. I would get into all the technicals here, but this is my first impression on the software. So this is, okay, so this is our contrast layer. This is our harmony expression layer. And let's just take out the bass over here and create another bass line to give it like a Travis Scott kind of vibe here. Let's go here. That Mike Dean sound. Sheesh, you can go crazy with these synths. There was so many nuances in there, like if I hit the key harder. It created like this wobble. I don't know how to recreate it. Now, I will say it is a little CPU heavy. I'm on a CPU right now that's pretty good with plugins, and this thing is a little heavy. Let me see where we're at with it. Yeah, these take up a lot of CPU. For the average person, we're looking at 33% CPU on some of these. Now, for the average computer, this might be struggling with more than one instance of this. So here's where I got to be fair in my feedback is that, you have to be on a powerful computer to run this because I'm already at 20 CPU here, or 20%. And I hear clicking, which is usually very rare that I hear clicking. And that click you hear is the metronome, but there's another kind of pulsation click that happens. Let's see what we have so far. Let's see how many instances we can use before we start getting like really bogged down here. Could do an arpeggio style thing there. This is hard. That is hard. All right, let's record that in because that's actually pretty fire. Y'all, this is crazy. Again, this is my first impression. I didn't practice this video. This is just first reaction to this synth. Now it is a little crowded around the second half, so let's figure out what we could take out. Let's take out the chords. All right, let's start finding some drums here. All right, so we're just gonna fast run some drums. We're not gonna create the craziest drums right now, but this song doesn't even need an 808 because the the synth hits so hard, you don't need an 808 for this type of track. So this is interesting. Let's add our rhythm section. So the rhythm section is going to keep the timing for the track. I think I'm going to program the kick by hand here. Let's program this kick by hand. So I programmed the kick by hand only because it's a little bit faster. Let's quantize that. Let's see what we have so far. Without any mixing plugins, this is straight from the plugin. No mixing. If anything, I might add like a soft clipper on the master, just for the drums. Yo, we made that in what, 10 minutes max? You don't even need to mix it like that. Try this out. I would recommend joining the UAD Spark program. It's actually really useful. Let me show you guys some other plugins that I mess with. I'm not going to make this video super long, but I've never seen a plugin that sounds this good. It's called the Electra, and you could run it through. I'm just going to give you guys some sauce here. So for like R&B and soul, here's some of my favorite. Let me turn my mic off so I could actually showcase this real quick. So these are just the instruments. It comes with a bunch of mixing plugins too for soul and like that authentic sound. I'm just going to show you guys a couple presets. I'm just going to mute my mic and play some sounds here for you guys. So this is called the Mini Moog. Then we have what's called the Electra, which is like an E-piano, but it can get bitey like for R&B and soul. Polymax, which is great, sounds just like my Prophet 6 right here. I have was this Ravel or Ravel, which is like a grand piano, and then the Anthem, which is what we just went over. So let's just go through a couple presets. Actually, I'll just keep my mic on, actually. Let's go to some bass. But I'd highly recommend you guys sign up for Spark. I was actually shocked at the value they give you. So this is that Travis Scott, Mike Dean type bass. They have that West Coast bass. So again, that West Coast, that, you know, just anything that involved with a Moog, but it sounds like an actual Moog. It doesn't just sound like a plasticky thing. So here too, there's some secret sauce on the R&B and soul tab here of this. Okay, so I love that one. Here's a nice one for like more of that 80s R&B. So you got that like, you know, that, I don't even know names of bands back then, but just that 80s vibe where it's like cool, laid back. A bunch of presets. I'm not going to go through everything right here, but too, it has a bunch of pedals, a wah pedal that sounds super realistic. They have a rotary speaker cabinet, and they have reverb, delays, and a compressor built right inside the plugin. So this is the secret sauce here, the Polymax. This was free. I don't know if it's still free anymore. These sounds are crazy in here. Let me load up my favorite presets here. It just feels so real. Like, it doesn't feel like a synth. It even has that glitter for like your boom bap beats like this. Some of this stuff I use is like ear glitter. Whoever sound designed these presets is fire. Get that Tyler the Creator types. That's more of a lead. They even got that like that Chicago glow sound, that Chicago drill. Turn that into a future beat, Chief Keef type beat. This is a nice lead. It's just so tucked in the back. That's great for like boom bap. But yeah, I showed you guys that plugin a couple days back, a couple weeks back, I can't remember. Then they have the grand piano for your only thing I would change is maybe the velocity sensitivity. I'm not sure how to do it, however. I guess that's what this dynamic thing is. All right, so you can get crazy with that. And lastly, the anthem, which we already showed you guys. All right, guys, so try it out. I recommend you guys sign up. These are just the synth plugins if you're a producer. Again, the mixing plugins are crazy, and I don't have time to go through everything. But all right, guys, peace. Go check out the website. Peace.